Hello, I've turned on the lights. For the Podcast Macabre Challenge, Week 7, it was from a movie from 1930s. The 1930s that I have not seen. And so I picked Frankenstein from 1931. I am a literature major. I have read Frankenstein. I will reread Frankenstein this summer because I like it so much. I've read the original Mary Shelley. I've read the Junji Ito story. And I really love Frankenstein. I love Frankenstein. I'm gonna have European lit next semester, so I'm probably gonna have to read Frankenstein again. And it's just a perfect little story in that it stands the test of time for a reason. It's a modern day, at least at the time, a modern day Prometheus. So yeah, Frankenstein. 1931, however, has been the dominant cultural image of Frankenstein to the point of, it everyone thinking Frankenstein is green just because in the movie it was green, even though the movie was in black and white, so the green didn't show up at all. But just the pull of this movie has implanted on the cultural consciousness of people that this is what Frankenstein is. He is not only visually but attitude wise, he is grunting, he is a very diminutive thinking person, and so yeah, that's what Frankenstein is. And I have always, ever since I first read that book, ever since I first knew what Frankenstein really truly was, I've always kind of resented that. And so that's why with this movie, even though I find it to be pretty good, this is a pretty solid movie. It does what it wants to do very well. And Frankenstein's Monster by Boris Karloff is a great performance. He towers overall. He's the best thing of this movie by far. Um, but like besides that, like I said, it does what it does really well. My problem is what in fact it does. In that it really just changes what Frankenstein is all about. He was supposed, like everyone who knows the inaccuracies from the book to the movie knows that Frankenstein was supposed to be like, well, he was a very literate man. He was very well thought. He was very attractive but grotesque. As much as I love how Boris Karloff looks, like there's a reason that look has stood the test of time. I can't help but just, it just looks scary. I guess, and it's just, I wish we got that Frankenstein from the book, and the fact that he is the best part and not the doctor, I think it defeats the whole purpose. And there's a lot of tragedy here that has been spared very frustratingly. People that should have died did not die. There weren't exactly that many consequences, and yeah, I guess I was just disappointed overall. That being said, I think I will like The Bride and Son of Frankenstein more because it will be its own thing coming from that. And I hate to be the guy that be like, the book is better, especially as a literature student. That's very annoying. But I guess with this, I will allow myself to have those irrational feelings because this basically became what Frankenstein is in the cultural imagination. That they don't know about the cunning manipulation of the monster to actively sabotage his maker's life, and this whole commentary about gods and shit. They don't know all of that. They just know the lugging monster made of compartments of flesh that went on, despite having a good heart, went on to accidentally murder people. And I guess that just doesn't strike me as compelling as what the book actually is, and it's very sad that that's what people think of it. But overall, again, I like the movie just fine. Frankenstein.